Hi, it's Cynthia and Teresa with Thursdays at Culture Talk. We were talking yesterday about, the upheaval that we've got at work right now and wondering what kind of recent studies might be coming out to help us understand what's happening. And so we found a study from PwC. It's called Next in Work. It was a pulse survey they did, 750 C-level executives. And they took the results of that survey in terms of how is this moment sort of pivotal in redesigning the future of work. And they paired it up actually with another recent pulse survey they did with employees. So 1,000 employees in the US and 750 executives, kind of like, what's happening? I'll give you some of the key takeaways, and then Teresa, maybe we can comment on how does this all connect to culture and our topic and conversation. So one thing is that in different C-suite roles, there are different concerns. So CMOs are worried about customer experience. CHROs are worried about retention. CFOs are worried about revenue models and how continued turnover is going to impact the strategy of the organization.
Yeah, and I can't wait to break those down. We're going to do that next month. We're going to take a look at each one of these and break down.
Yeah. Another finding is that, yes, while employees want more flexibility and more compensation, and those are some of the reasons they're looking for new jobs, companies that are trying to hire have renewed their focus on how does their purpose, their culture, how do those kind of things help them stand out? How do they highlight those things as part of the hiring process? There's a little bit of research that says employees are appreciating that, when executives have shown up in a bigger way to be more inclusive, to take stands on social justice issues, those kinds of things are paying dividends. And also that inclusion is going to continue to absolutely be at the top of the list of what people are looking for. And that our definition of inclusion is expanding again, especially in new design of workplace that's becoming hybrid in nature. So how are we going to include the people that aren't in the office all the time? What they note is the number one concern about how all that's going to pan out is culture. Teresa.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. So culture obviously is something that makes people panic a little bit. And it's not new, right? This idea of what is culture and can you make it tangible? Can we create something that becomes an asset? And, and how does that asset transition with us into this new way of working? What about our culture needs to shift or change? So it's the same question. And I think that, the same answer is we need to understand where we are. What is our culture? Can we measure it and create a common language and the ability to have a conversation around it? Again, point A, where are we today? So any change that needs to happen within the workplace, whether it's inclusion related or getting clear on our values and, what our purpose is as an organization, can all be tied back to this common conversation about culture. This, I think, fear of not being able to control what the culture is what gets in the way. And I think it's,
right.
Whether someone's in the office, whether we have a hybrid work environment or everybody's remote, guess what? We couldn't control what people were thinking and saying and the relationships they had with each other. All of that needs to come kind of from within. And it's when we do that, we can manage the what's happening today, as well as intentionally shift and change how we're showing up as individuals and as a culture. And those things are intertwined.
They're connected. Yeah, right. There's a symbiotic relationship between individuals and organizational systems. I was thinking about this hybrid work and thinking it's a little bit kind of like a family system. So, in the beginning, your children live with you, go to school, and they're young, what's happening. Hopefully you have some semblance of like things are going well, but then they go off to college and they go off and they come and go. I think, they move in and out of apartments.
Yeah,
and in and
hey,
out
they're
of
hybrid, they're remote. They're back.
Exactly. And it's a little bit like that. Like, how do you continue to build a family culture, a family system as the situation changes, as they, are in different stages of their life? Here, I know I've shared with you, we have like a family dinner Sundays that we've been doing since our kids were like late teens, early 20s. And, in the beginning, it was me kind of reminding everybody all the time, don't forget dinner on Sunday. And it's funny how that simple tradition has taken off in the fact that now my kids call me and go, what are we doing for dinner on Sunday?
Yeah.
So that shift is possible.
Yeah, it's like any culture shift. It's a great example because it's that decision and recognition that we want to make a change. And then it takes time to take hold. In an organizational setting, I'm reminded of a survey and an audit that we did working alongside one of our partners, and where somebody recognized that their culture was acting from the shadow side of the caregiver archetype, meaning that they were so rewarded and recognized for taking care of their clients that when they went on vacation and they kept on answering the phone and responding to emails and they came back exhausted and unrelaxed, people were giving them an award because of the great client service attitude you have. Yeah. And so, decisions to make a change around a cultural pattern need to be recognized, and then we need to start rewarding different behaviors. So if we look at our hybrid cultures, we need to understand, where are we today? What needs to change to respond to this situation? And how are we going to recognize and reward different behaviors so that we can create a new tradition, like your family dinners, so that as things change, we don't lose our sense of who we are, but we allow our sense of who we are to evolve and to grow. So
let's make culture tangible.
Right. So just some ideas, and we'll be back in the following weeks with some specifics and how this might relate to the concerns of those at the C-suite, and how each one of those people at different levels are handling and responding to these really challenging times. But look forward to talking with you more, and love to hear what you're doing around your culture and your responses to hybrid and remote work and these new demands that we're all living with. Till next week, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.